Breaking tonight, serious concerns that the world's most volatile region is on the brink of exploding. And today, the White House asked point blank if a lack of presidential leadership is to blame. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. In recent days, we have witnessed a series of troubling headlines out of the Mideast, including tensions soaring between two of the region's power players, Saudi Arabia and Iran. Diplomatic ties between the two nations have been severed after two Saudi diplomatic posts were attacked in Iran following the Saudis' execution of a top cleric. The U.S. so far reluctant to get involved. Meantime, in a defiant move against the West, Iranian state TV showing off a new underground missile depot. Look at it. In it, missiles the U.S. believes are capable of carrying nuclear warheads. Maybe this must not have been covered by the deal. This comes just days after Iran shot a rocket dangerously close to a U.S. warship. And as we reported on the show last night, despite the end of the Afghanistan war, remember we were told it's over, no more combat, our troops are engaged in an increasingly dangerous operation there. Just yesterday, one soldier was killed, others were injured, and our fighters even surrounded by the enemy at one point until a team managed to rescue them. The Taliban now controls more territory than at any time since 2001. All the gains given back. And then there's the crisis in Syria. Today, an Associated Press report is suggesting that the Obama administration now feels the best case scenario for regime change there won't come before 2017. More than 5 years after President Obama called on President Assad to leave power. President Obama is going to leave power before Assad is. And while we're on Syria, our sister network Sky News has obtained a chilling new video of what is being described as a jihadi university of sorts there. Look at this. This will give you bad dreams in the middle of the night. ISIS terrorists there are being trained to carry out sophisticated attacks on the West, with scientists even seen preparing surface-to-air missiles. It's all they're planning it at a university. That's how much power and control they have. In the meantime, relations aren't exactly blossoming with our most important ally in the region. Amid reports the U.S. has been spying on Israel, and one longtime diplomat now saying President Obama essentially wrote off Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu after his 2012 re-election. So what of the White House and leadership? Charles Krauthammer says it's seriously lacking.
We're in the middle of a meltdown in the Middle East, terrorism all over the world, shutdown of capitals in Europe, attacks here in the United States. And the president's answer is gun control? That's the reason that the country's on edge. Yes, the world is in trouble, but it usually is. The difference is we have a president who's not asleep at the wheel. He's not at the wheel at all. He's somewhere else.
Joining me now, retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who served as the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency under President Obama from 2012 to 2014. He previously served as Director of Intelligence at the United States Central Command. General, great to see you.
Great to have me here.
And so the White House was pressed on this today, saying, is this a lack of leadership? And to hear them tell it, it's all rosy. This is American leadership has stopped it from being worse than what I just ran through.
Yeah, I mean, just watching your lead-in, your audience has to be saying, wow, what is going on? I think that a couple of things, and I'm going to be as brief as I can. The importance of this next national election is huge because whoever is the president of the United States is going to deal with an absolute mess on their hands. And it's going to last for a long time, potentially their entire presidency, so that this next election is huge. When there is a void of U.S. leadership around the world, and I've seen this in many places, but particularly in the Middle East certainly in the last couple of decades, whenever there's a void of U.S. leadership, it will be filled, and it will be filled by dictators, by terrorists, by those threats that we face, and we see many of them. You've laid out a bunch of them. I mean, ISIS, Iran, you know, the Taliban, the Al-Qaeda that's still out there, all of the problems that we're having with Russia and the dynamic of Russia being involved now, the massive immigration problem and the problems that are coming with immigration in Europe, as well as the spread of essentially the Islamic State into North Africa, West Africa. So
where they operate with impunity. I mean, now setting up universities on how to train jihadis.
We've seen these kinds of training events. I mean, this particular one, I saw a little bit of that video earlier today that was sent to me, and I'll tell you, they are very sophisticated. That particular enemy is a very sophisticated, very cunning enemy, and we have to be smarter about how we're dealing with this problem. I mean, this is not something where, you know, a resolution at the United Nations or a big speech or some poor answers by our spokesperson at the White House. I mean, I want to sit here tonight and I want to cheer for our country and our president, but I find it really difficult because I feel like we're playing on a strategic, you know, football field, and we're not even in the stadium. I mean, I just don't feel like we're there. I know that we have military forces out there that are doing all they can. There's a lot of frustration. I will tell you that the lack of leadership right now is hurting our reputation. And this missile issue that you talked about with Iran.
Yeah, what should we have done? Get specific.
Yeah, these are tests that they're doing. It's not just firing a missile and
at a U.S. warship.
It's testing our resolve. It's testing our rules of engagement. It's looking at us and saying, you know, we're kind of giving you the big middle finger, and we're going to see what you're going to do about it.
What should we have done?
Are you going to punch us in the nose? Well, you know, what we could do is we could put what I would describe as a big red dot on that site that fired that missile and say, and threaten to say we will destroy that the next time you even remotely think about it. That site and maybe a few others will be destroyed.
But you got to be willing to do it.
We have to show strength that's hard power more than this soft power stuff that we're just playing around with. It doesn't work in the real world. It just doesn't work. You know, again, I don't want to sit here and bash on our president. I don't. I really want to help. But we are making poor decisions. We're showing the enemies and the threats that we face. We're showing them our weaknesses in such a big way, and frankly, it's very dangerous. And I'll finish with one point. On the battlefield, when you have you know, an uncertainty, a great level of uncertainty, you basically build up your capabilities right now, and you're postured to use them. We haven't done that. We really haven't done that. We've put ourselves in such a weak position.
You raise interesting questions about election 2016 and the stakes at issue for the nation.
It's huge.
In deciding the next commander-in-chief. General Flynn.
Because they're going to be dealing with this problem, Megan. I mean, they're going to be dealing with this problem. It's going to be left on their doorstep.
And hence we all are.
Yep.
Great to see you, General.
Thanks.